Hi, I'm Angela with Mind Body Solutions. Today we're going to be working on loosening up our shoulders. So we're just going to start by finding a comfortable seated position, maybe rocking back and forth a couple times to find those sits bones, those bones at the base of your pelvis. Try to see if you can find a balanced point on those sits bones, grounding down through the feet. And we're just going to check in with the body for a moment. Checking to see how the body of today is feeling. Checking in with your energy level of today. Are you feeling light and airy or more sluggish and slow? Somewhere in between. And then we're just going to take a moment to check in with the breath. So not to change it in any way, but just to observe the length and quality of that breath. Are you inhaling and exhaling fully? Letting go of the control of the breath if you've changed it in any way. Just returning back to your normal breath, back to the body. Maybe just starting to notice the areas that you feel touching the chair or the floor or your foot pedals. And we're going to start the practice out today by taking our chin off to side to side. So off to one shoulder, and then very slowly out to the other shoulder. So making some very slow no's. Just noticing your end point of your motion, not going beyond that end point. Just doing enough now to even yourself out. And then returning back to our center. Then we're going to move the chin up towards the ceiling without overextending. And then bringing it back down to tuck towards the chest. So some very slow yeses. Staying within your range of motion for your neck. Doing just enough to even yourself out. Coming back to center. We're going to rock just a moment here, again, from side to side or front to back, whichever way feels good. Reconnecting those sits bones to your chair or the feet to the floor. And then we're going to move back into that motion, that first motion of taking the chin from side to side. But this time, keeping that connection with your sits bones and your feet. Making your way back to center. If you've lost the connection with those sits bones, reconnect. And then we're going to start our very slow yeses. Chin up towards the ceiling without overextending. And then tucking towards the chest. Finding your way back to center. Then we're going to start to just roll those shoulders. This could be one at a time until you feel complete on that side, or it can be both at the same time. Whichever feels best in your body for today. Roll one direction first. And then we're going to roll the other direction, and it doesn't have to look the same as your first direction did. Again, it can be one at a time, both at the same time. You can alternate. You want to get your elbows and wrists and fingers moving. They're good to warm up as well. Taking those back down. Reconnect with those sits bones, the feet to the floor or the foot pedals. We're going to do a slight rise in the chest, in the sternum. And then we're going to take the right hand out to the side, bend at the elbow, and take the hand towards the shoulder. And if this doesn't go all the way to the shoulder, doing it to the best of your range of motion. And then we're just going to start to raise and lower that elbow. So up and down with the elbow. Just a few times to loosen that shoulder up. And then we're going to come back to center. If you need a break for your elbow or your shoulder, you can take that. Then we're going to come back into that position, and we're going to start to make some circles with that elbow. So some forward circles. And then some backward circles. Again, staying within your pain tolerance and your range of motion. Coming back to center, drop the elbow and the arm down. We're going to move to the other side. So extending out through the arm, taking the hand towards the shoulder or as close to. And then we're just going to start to raise and lower that elbow. Just enough to feel complete on that side. We'll come back to center. And again, if you need a little break for your elbow or your shoulder, take that. Then we're going to come back to that position and start to make some forward circles. Pausing and turning the other direction for some backward circles. Coming back to your pause, letting the elbow and the arm come back down. Reconnect with those feet on the floor, the sits bones to the chair. We're going to take the right hand up overhead, drop the shoulder away from the ear. Now connect that shoulder with those sits bones. And then we're going to cross over the midline and extend the breath out through these side ribs. So as you inhale, let the breath expand the ribs. As you exhale, let the ribs come back and contract. Just a few slow breaths into those ribs first. And then if you'd like to make the motion a little deeper, we're going to just add some forward and backward motion with that shoulder. So this is really coming from the torso, not just moving the arm. And it can be very small. Taking those motions just a little back, a little forward. Then we're going to come back to center, take the arm back down, shake anything out that may need it. We're going to then take the left arm up, drop the shoulder away from the ear, extend out through the hand, connect that to your sits bones, and then we're going to cross over the midline. Again, breathing through these side ribs. Let the inhales expand the ribs. Let the exhales recontract. And then if you'd like to add a little motion, you can start to bring the shoulder and the torso forward and a little bit back. Alternating. Continuing to breathe as you move. Taking enough just to even yourself out, coming back to center and letting the arm come back down. Recheck in with your body. Maybe taking just a moment to pause, listen to the hum. Observe any changes that have started to happen. We're going to come back to that right arm, taking the right arm out, then bending at the elbow, hands towards the shoulder. We're going to raise that shoulder up and then curl off to the left side. From here, we're going to extend through the elbow, drop the shoulder away from the ear, but really expand out through that hand. Connect the right fingertips down through the left toes. Checking with your head, I'm noticing that my head is a little too far off to the side. It wasn't feeling good in my neck. So checking in with yours to see if it's an extension of your spine and not too far forward, too far back, or off to the side. Keep breathing as you extend out through those fingertips and also connect them down through the opposite toes. Then we're going to take the hand back to the shoulder, coming back to center and dropping the arm. Off to the other side, the left hand comes out, bend at the elbow to take the hand to the shoulder. We're going to raise that shoulder up, raise that elbow up, curl off to the side. Then we're going to extend out through the arm, dropping the shoulder away from the ear, but expanding out through that hand. Connect those fingertips to the opposite toes, the left fingertips to the right toes, checking in with your neck again to make sure it's an extension of your spine. Breathing as you continue to make that connection between the left fingers and the right toes. And we're going to take the hand back to the shoulder, come back to center and drop the arm. Just kind of shaking anything out that might need it for the moment. Both arms are then going to come out to the sides. We're going to bend at the elbows. And this is what we call goalpost arms. From here, we're going to take those elbows back behind us and squeeze the shoulder blades. And then come back to center. Go back to squeezing those shoulder blades behind us very gently. Come back to your goalposts. One more time, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Come back to center. And then take those hands back down. Again, checking in with your neck, your shoulders. let them hang for a moment. After we've been getting this extra space in them, see if they can hang a little lower. Checking in with your breath. The last thing we're going to do is reconnect through those feet and those sits bones. If that helps to rock a little bit, to find the connection, do so. We're going to lift through the chest and the sternum just slightly and tuck the chin towards the chest and start to curl our way down. And only curl as far as it feels good for you. Take a pause, and if it feels good to let the arms just hang there, really let them go. Let them get heavy. And then we're very slowly going to rise back up, curling up as the head is the last thing to come back up. So if you can do this again with letting your arms hang, you'll get a little bit deeper stretch in there. If you feel like it's better for your balance and your support to have your hands on your legs, keep them there. So we're going to tuck the chin again towards the sternum, bringing the sternum towards the chin. And we're going to slowly start to curl. Curling only as far as it feels good for you. Let those shoulders hang. Pressing down through the feet and rising back up very slowly, letting the head be the last thing to come up. And take a breath. Thank you for joining me for today's practice. If it feels comfortable to do so, taking your hands to heart center. The student and teacher in me honors the student and teacher in you. Namaste.